Anita! Oh, hello, Flora. Please give me back my son's baseball hat. You can't just go and steal someone else's stuff. I thought he had lost it or something, but then I saw your son wearing it yesterday. Huh? What in the world are you talking about? I didn't do anything of the sort. But the one my son was wearing yesterday was a new baseball hat that I had bought for him. You see, my son is a fan of the professional baseball team on his hat. What? Don't you think that's strange? Because the team on that baseball hat is the juvenile baseball team my son is a part of. What do you mean he's a fan? It's not even a professional baseball team in the first place. Are you sure about that? Who knows? Maybe they just use the same hats. It's true that there is a professional baseball team with the same colored hats, but the team logo on the front is completely different. Oh, and I sewed my son's name and uniform number on the hat, which I clearly saw on the one your son was wearing. What? Seriously? Oh, my bad. Maybe it was your son's hat after all. Yes, the one I bought for my son was slightly different now that I remember it. He must have picked it up thinking it was his. It must have been an honest mistake. There's no point in your son having that hat anyways, and if he's not a part of the baseball team, then people will know immediately that it's stolen if they see him wearing it. Besides, the coach at my son's baseball team is Mr. Tor, so if he sees your son wearing that, you know? So if it was an honest mistake, just like you say, then just give it back already. Mr. Tor? That crazy old man I sometimes see at the park? He's not crazy, he's just very strict and direct with people. Mr. Tor lives nearby, so if he sees your son wearing that, he's sure to call the police on you. The police? Are you sure I have to give it back to you? I mean, my son seems to really like it, and your son could always just get a new hat because he's a part of the team, right? No, it's my son's hat, and I'm not just going to let you have it. If you don't want to have the police called on you, then give me back the hat. Fine, I'll put it in your mailbox. Understood. Please bring it now. What? Now? Can't I just give it back to you when I feel like it or something? No. Give it back right now, please. If you don't, I'll tell Mr. Tor and the police. Fine, I get it. I'll bring it right now. Sheesh, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's just a hat, you know. I don't care if it's just a hat. What you're doing is theft, Anita. Don't do anything like this ever again. You're accusing me of being a thief? I told you it was just an honest mistake, and my son must have picked it up thinking it was his because I had bought him one that looked similar. I'm telling you, it was an honest mistake. Yeah, and he never noticed my son's name and uniform number sewed on the hat? I made sure to make it stand out precisely so no one would take it by accident. Next time, I won't be so forgiving and just call the police immediately. Fine, I won't. Just shut up already. You're making such a big deal out of this. Hey, Flora, I saw you entering your house just now. What in the world are you doing? Huh? What am I doing? I went to the supermarket to buy some stuff. You went to the supermarket? I don't think you have the luxury to be doing such things considering the situation. You called me out so many times before, but when you're the one in trouble, you just lie like it's so easy for you. That's what's called a hypocrite, Flora. All I ever do is make honest mistakes, but what you're doing right now is simply despicable. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Anita. Why are you in such a fuss? Your child just got taken away by an ambulance. I don't understand how you can just be so calm. Huh? Are you sure that it was my child? Yes, he was wearing your son's hat. I don't know who called the ambulance, but you noticed it come, right? There were so many people watching as well. I don't get why you can just pretend you don't know what's happening. Your own child got into an accident and was taken to the hospital, but you won't even go visit him since it's too much of a hassle for you. Hold on. I'm telling you, leave your house and go to the hospital right now. By the way, that accident wasn't my fault, all right? Huh? What do you mean it wasn't your fault? First of all, I don't know what you're talking about, and second of all, I never said it was your fault. Anyways, my son is in the house right now, so it can't be him. Huh? Are you sure about that? Yeah, he's practicing baseball in the yard right now. What? He's practicing baseball? But he just got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. How could he have recovered so fast? Are you being serious right now, Anita? I'm not saying that he's already back from the hospital, but that he was never taken to the hospital in the first place. The ambulance you're talking about is the one that drove by our house on the way to the main road, right? Yes, that one. So your son was taken to the hospital after all? No, I'm telling you, he wasn't. Are you even listening to a word I say? Why do I even bother talking to you? At the time the ambulance came, I was at the supermarket across the main road. When I got home, I saw there was a crowd of people gathered at the side of the road. I saw there was an ambulance as well, so I thought something must have happened, but I didn't bother looking and just went inside. Oh, and once I got home, both my son and mother-in-law welcomed me back, which means that my son wasn't the one who was hospitalized, and I don't know what you're talking about. But... Oh, and this is completely unrelated, but we already moved. Huh? Oh, when did you move? You see, my husband was relocated at work, and so we decided to move to where his new office is. We've already bought a new house. But I have work as well, and my son has school, so the three of us, me, my son, and my mother-in-law, are going to be staying here for a bit longer. My father-in-law and my husband have already moved to our new house. We're planning on going there tonight and having dinner. Besides, my son is right in front of me, so what you've been saying all this time is nonsense. You must have mistaken someone else for my son. What? Then who was that taken away by the ambulance? I could have sworn it was your son that got into an accident. Anita, you really shouldn't bother yourself with such things. It's none of our business. We'll just cause trouble if we start a commotion over something we don't have anything to do with. And if we did have something to do with it, we would have gotten a call from the hospital or police or something. If the person who was carried away was our neighbor, then we'll find out soon who it was and what happened, right? Why are you insisting so much that it was my son anyways? Did you get a close look and think it was him or something? Maybe you thought it was my son because it was some kid from nearby that looked like him, but thankfully nothing's happened with us here, so don't worry. Oh, is that so? Oh, it's fine if that's the case, though. I don't care if it has nothing to do with your son. Bye, then. Hello, Anita? I found out who was taken away by the ambulance yesterday. You seemed to be bothered about it a lot, so I'll share the information with you. Who was it? Apparently it was the son of Mr. Tor, the coach at my son's baseball team. What? That was Mr. Tor's son? Yep. I went to today's baseball practice with my son and saw that Mr. Tor's son wasn't there. So I asked him about it, and he told me about yesterday's accident. Apparently a bicycle that was going full speed crashed into him when he turned a corner. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured, but he hit his head, so he went to the hospital to have it checked up just in case. Oh, is that so? I'm glad nothing serious happened to him. But apparently the person that ran into him fled the scene, and they still don't know who it was. What a sick person. To think that they would crash into an elementary school student and just flee the scene without even thinking to help. But if they had stayed and helped, surely they would have had to face the consequences of crashing into a child. It's only natural that they fled the scene, in my opinion. Is that a crime, do you think? Of course it is. Fleeing the scene is what a coward would do, Anita. An honest person would stay and do whatever they could to make up for his or her mistake. Even though it was just a bicycle, what this person did was clearly illegal. You can't just be going that fast on a sidewalk. It's against road laws. Yeah, you're right, I guess. Besides, if it was an honest mistake, they probably wouldn't have had to go to prison or something like that, right? But I don't know that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Huh? It's so scary that there are all these laws we don't even know about, don't you think? I'd better watch out myself. Oh, I remembered I have to do something. Bye. Okay. Flora, something terrible has happened. What should I do? What do you think is the best thing to do at times like this, Flora? I need your advice. Why are you panicking so much? The police are at my front door. I'm scared to open it, so I'm pretending that no one's home. What? You can't just pretend to not be there when the police are at your door. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. If you didn't do anything, there's no reason to be scared of the police, so why don't you just open the door and see what they want from you?
No, I'm not going to open the door.
Why not?
Because
you did something and that's why you're hiding from the police?
Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to deserve being locked up. Do you suspect me of being a criminal or something?
I never said that you did anything that would get you locked up. And if there's nothing suspicious about you, then there's no need to hide from the police, is there?
I mean, well, I didn't mean it like that. It's just that...
If that's the case, then you should just open the door and talk to them, right?
But that's... I can't, all right? It's hard to explain.
You panicked at the sight of the police, and so without even thinking, texted me asking for help, even though it will only make things worse. Did I get that right? I think the best thing for you to do right now is to just accept that we all know about what you did now.
What are you talking about? You're not making any sense.
Hey, Anita, don't you realize that you messed up yesterday during our conversation?
Huh? What do you mean I messed up?
When I was telling you about the bicycle accident Mr. Tor's son got into, I only said that a bicycle crashed into his son, right? But for some reason, you knew what type of bicycle crashed into him, saying something about how it was so scary that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Up until then, you seemed to know nothing about the accident, but for some reason you knew the type of bike that crashed into Mr. Tor's son.
Seriously?
I thought it was strange how you seemed to be so panicked about the accident at first, when you thought it was my son and not Mr. Tor's son that was hospitalized.
You suspected me from the start?
Well, it's not like all this proves with certainty that you're the one who crashed into Mr. Tor's son and fled the scene. All I did was tell Mr. Tor, the victim's father, about my suspicions.
Why did you do that?
What, did you think I would just stand by and let you get away with this? Oh, and by the way, it's not certain that it was me that caused the police to come to your house like this. There's a possibility that you were suspected of being the culprit from the start, and that they were already investigating you.
Why is that? Why would they suspect me? Do I really look that much like a criminal?
That's not what I meant. Apparently a lot of houses around here have security cameras watching the entrance to their house. So they might have already found evidence that you were the culprit before I told Mr. Tor anything.
Security cameras?
Yes, you only moved here 1 year ago, so maybe you didn't know, but this area was once terrorized by multiple thefts a few years ago.
Theft?
Yeah. After that, everyone learned a lesson, and they made contracts with security companies and set security cameras and stuff. So you know what that means, right?
Hold on. So you're saying that I was caught on a security camera?
I don't know for sure, but surely the police around here know how a lot of people have security cameras in this area. And so they probably asked them to cooperate by providing footage. Oh, but it's just a possibility, all right?
No way. This can't be happening.
Anita, what's wrong?
They found out. They know I did it. To think that it was Mr. Tor's son as well.
Anita, are you seriously just realizing this now?
But I even got rid of the evidence and threw away my city bike. I thought that they wouldn't have anything to tie me to the accident.
What?
And they still found out? How is that even possible? Besides, it's that baseball hat of theirs that's the problem. He was wearing the same hat as your son's, which is why I thought it was him when I ran into him. But it had to be Mr. Tor's son of all people. I shouldn't have texted you that day. This never would have happened.
Anita, do you realize that you're basically telling me that you ran into Mr. Tor's son on purpose because you thought he was my son? What are you trying to do, confessing your crimes to me like this? What do you want me to do about it? You think I'm going to help you or something?
Huh? No, it's just that...
You were careful enough to get rid of the evidence by throwing away your city bicycle. But for someone that goes that far, you're pretty scatterbrained, Anita. Maybe if you were a bit less stupid, you would have made a better thief.
No, that's not what I meant when I said that I didn't mean that I purposefully ran into Mr. Tor's son because I thought he was your son. You're misunderstanding.
I'm going to tell the police, okay?
No! Don't! My punishment is just going to get worse if you tell them.
Apparently, the police knew from the start that she was actually home and just pretending to not be there. Anita tried to flee from the back door, but they were already waiting for her there and captured her. Apparently, she was arrested without even undergoing an investigation first. Oh, and the city bicycle that she disposed of was apparently stolen as well. After a bit more investigation, the police found out that she's guilty of several such petty crimes, and so Anita was locked away behind bars. Anita's husband, on the other hand, went to all the families that Anita had caused trouble for and apologized, and after that he divorced Anita and moved, bringing their children with him. Anita's parents fled without saying a word, ashamed at what their daughter had done. So when Anita finally got out of prison, she had nowhere left to go, and since she still had to pay for several alimonies and hospitalization bills and stuff, she was hardly free, even though she just got out of prison.
Did you decide on a date for your wedding?
Yeah? Why?
What do you mean, why? You know I do shift work, so I'll have to make sure I'm off that day. I've got to find some time to go shopping to get something to wear, make hair appointments. There's lots of things I'll have to schedule and do to get ready. I've been looking forward to seeing you get married ever since you were a little girl.
Huh? You're coming to my wedding?
What? Of course I am. I'm your mom.
But I don't want you there.
Huh? Why not?
If you think about it for just a bit, I think you'll see why.
No, I don't see why I wouldn't go. Why don't you want me there?
Because my fiancé's whole family is doctors. They've been doctors for generations. Do you know how embarrassed I'd be if my high school dropout of a mom showed up?
But to not have your own mom show up to your own wedding, wouldn't that look even worse?
I'll just make up some excuse like you're sick and you can't go outside, or something like that.
Don't say things like that. Please, just let me come. I've been looking forward to seeing you all dressed up in your wedding dress walking down the aisle as long as I can remember.
I don't care about that. I don't want you there.
You've never mentioned this before. Why are you just bringing this up now? Did someone on his side say something about me?
Nobody has said anything directly about you, but I can sense how they feel. I don't think his dad or his mom think very highly of you. They've all got MDs or PhDs, and you're sitting there without even a high school diploma. What do you think they'd think? The only reason they're even allowing me to marry their son is because I at least have a degree from a reputable school. Being associated with you is a huge strike against me. Honestly, I'm considering cutting you out of my life altogether.
What? You're not. You don't have to go that far, do you? I raised you your whole life, and you're just going to abandon me now?
My fiancé is the most important thing to me right now.
I'm not going to do anything to offend anyone in his family. And I promise I won't do anything to embarrass you.
If you were beautiful and dropped out of high school, maybe I could justify it. But you look like a regular old woman. You've got gray hairs all over the place, and your hands and skin are so wrinkly you look even older than you are. With a high school dropout of a mom who looks like you, they're gonna do nothing but tease me about it for the rest of my life.
There's nothing I can do about how I look. I've been working from morning till night for the past 20 years just to keep a roof over your head and food on the table. I haven't had the time or money to go to a beauty salon or worry about how my skin looks.
Why the heck wouldn't you care about your own looks? You damn well should.
Look, you know your grandfather was living with us because he was too sick to take care of himself. I not only had to work to raise you, I had to look after him at the same time. And I had to pay all of your grandma's hospital bills before she died, too. I had to support everyone by myself. And by the time both of your grandparents had passed away, you were starting college. With all that tuition, everything's been really tough for me. No matter how long or how hard I worked, there never seemed to be enough money. Why can't you understand that?
Stop with your excuses. You only had to work that hard because you dropped out of high school. If you'd have gone to college, you could have gotten a decent job that paid well. You brought this all on yourself. A dropout single mother? My God, you're a disgrace. Why didn't you at least finish high school? Is it because you were too stupid?
I couldn't finish high school because of circumstances beyond my control. That's why I was working so hard, to make sure you never had to go through what I went through. That's why I worked so hard to help put you through a decent college. I did all this for you because I love you. I thought if I could see you get married and be happy, all my hard work would be worth it.
Why are you trying to make it sound like I owe you something for doing this? It's a parent's duty to raise and provide for their children. If you didn't have the funds or weren't prepared to support me until I was an adult, you shouldn't have given birth to me. But you did, so it's only natural that you work your butt off to provide for me until I'm old enough to get out on my own.
Why are you talking to me like this? I'm your mom, and I love you. I agree with some of your points, but you have to understand everyone has different circumstances, especially us.
It doesn't matter. You just don't fit in with the kind of family I'm marrying into. You better not come to my wedding. If you really care about me like you say you do, you'll stay away. Mom! Why did you say you're not paying for the wedding? The bride's family is supposed to pay. It's tradition. My fiancé's family already agreed to help out and pay half. So why are you suddenly refusing to pay any of it? Do you know how embarrassed I am right now?
What are you talking about? Why should I pay? You said I'm an embarrassment to you, and you forbid me from even going to your wedding. You expect me to pay for half of it after you did all that to me? I'm not giving you another cent for anything ever again. You're an adult now. If you want something, pay for it yourself.
So now you're just going to abandon your own daughter? You're heartless.
Say whatever you want. No matter what you say to me, you're not getting another cent.
Whatever. Do whatever you want. I don't know why this surprises me at all. I'm done with you. I'm never speaking to you again, so don't ever try contacting me again. You're not my mom.
What's this? Are you saying you knew?
What? Knew what?
That none of my blood is in your veins.
What are you talking about? None of your blood is in my veins? Is this some kind of joke?
It's no joke.
Huh? Then you mean... Are you saying you're not my real...
I knew I'd have to tell you sometime, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I've been trying to keep it a secret from you. When you were only 3 months old, I took you in.
Huh? Wait. Hold on. Then, my parents? My real parents are somewhere, right? Who are they?
Do you want to know who your real mom is?
Of course. I want to talk to her. Give me her number. I want my real parents to be at my wedding.
Huh? What are you talking about? You're gonna forbid the woman who raised you your whole life to come, and instead, you're gonna invite someone you've never met?
Yes. Even though I've never met them, it's better than having the mother of the bride's seat empty at the wedding.
Don't you want to know what kind of person gave birth to you?
Well, of course, but there's no doubt they'll be better than a high school dropout. I doubt there is anything worse, lol.
Really? Okay. I don't know your real mom's phone number or where she lives. But I think I have some proof of who she is somewhere in my house. I'll find it and send it to you. When you see who it is, you can try to track her down yourself and get in contact with her.
Okay, I will. I've always wondered how someone like you could have been my mom. I suspected long ago that you weren't. We've got nothing in common. I've always believed a child should be with their real mom.
I've always treated you as my own daughter. I devoted my entire life to you. I did all that for you, and you're still going to say something like that?
I told you before, stop acting like I owe you something. I can't believe this. You've had me tricked this whole time. I want my real parents at my wedding. Get whatever information you have sent to me right away. You fraud. You tricked me again, didn't you? How could I be related to someone like that?
From the way you're acting, I see you found your real mom, huh?
Yeah, I found her. When I got the records you sent me, my fiancé hired a private investigator to find her.
Then invite her to your wedding like you wanted to. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
I'm not inviting someone like that.
Why not? No matter what, she's a better mom than a high school dropout could be, right?
I'm not inviting that thing to my wedding. She's nothing but a criminal. She tried to kill someone to get insurance money. She went to prison.
That's right. But she's out of prison now, isn't she? She should be able to go to your wedding.
What the heck is going on here? Explain this to me.
If you must know, your mom is my older sister. She's really beautiful and knows what men want. Guys have been lining up to be with her since she was young. And because of that, she's always thought she's better than everyone else. So everyone in our family hated her. One day, she decided she wanted to be rich, so she married a rich guy 10 years older than her. But I guess she decided splitting his money wasn't what she wanted, so she devised a plan to try to get it all. I don't know if she planned on trying to kill him before they got married or not, but it seems she wanted all his money, and maybe even some extra from his life insurance. But before her plan could work, her husband found out she had been secretly poisoning him, and she was arrested. By the time all that was found out, she was already pregnant.
You mean with me?
That's right. But her husband wanted nothing to do with the daughter of the woman who tried to kill him, so he refused to take you. That's when I decided to take you rather than have you put up for adoption. My parents used all the savings they had to hire a lawyer to help my sister, but it wasn't enough. The cost of the trial and the extra mouth to feed was too much. I had to quit school and find a job to help my parents out and to raise you.
So, that's why you didn't graduate high school?
Some people said it wasn't worth doing all that for a child of someone like her. But even though your mom had done a horrible thing, I didn't think you should suffer for it. I did my best to shield you from the sins of your mom. I knew if you were associated with someone like that, it would make your life even more difficult.
That's why, even up till just last week, you'd try to keep it a secret from me?
For the past 24 years of your life, I loved you and raised you like you were my own. But that wasn't enough for you. You wanted even more than that. And when you told me I wasn't your mom, I thought you knew. So, I thought you wanted to know who your real mom was. Recently, I had been considering never telling you the truth, and just taking that secret with me to the grave.
So, you were never planning on telling me about my real mom?
I wanted to at first, But it was mostly my parents who thought I shouldn't. When my sister was sent to prison for attempted murder, my parents were so ashamed. They didn't want to be seen in public anymore. They got rid of pretty much everything in the house that was tied to her. Even the baby pictures they had of her. We moved away from that town, and my parents never spoke of her to anyone again. But those things I sent to you, those are what I secretly took from my parents before they destroyed everything of my sister's. If you ever wanted to know who your real mom was, I figured it would be best if I had some proof, or something that might lead you to her. I'm glad I kept those things now.
No, you sent those things to me so my fiancé would find out, didn't you? You kept those things to use against me, didn't you?
What are you talking about? I gave you those things because you said you wanted to know. They helped you find your real mom, didn't they?
Shut up! Think about what you've done. Now my fiancé's family knows that the bride's mother is a criminal. This is terrible!
Oh? Is that worse than her mother being a high school dropout? I guess you never considered there are worse things than that, did you?
It's not just that. They know my mom was only after money and tried to kill her husband to get it. What do you think they're gonna assume I'm doing?
Well, I can't blame them for that. If I was in your fiancé's position, I'd be concerned that you'd be trying the same thing that your mom tried too. I'd be scared you might be trying to take my life.
My fiancé's parents said they want the wedding postponed, which is basically their way of saying they don't want their son marrying a criminal's daughter because it'd be bad for their reputation. I'm sure it's just a matter of time before the wedding is canceled altogether.
That's not surprising. It's an unfortunate situation.
What are you talking about? That's what you'd say if this was happening to someone you barely knew.
That's because it is. I'm not your mom. You told me that yourself not too long ago.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know my real mom would be such a horrible person.
You chose the person you had never met over the woman who raised you your whole life. I went along with your decision and gave you the information you wanted so you could find your real mom. You found her. So, I'm not your mom anymore. And that means you're not my daughter anymore.
I was angry. It was a slip of the tongue. It could happen to anyone. I didn't mean it.
You didn't say it. You typed it. Are you saying it was just a slip of the finger?
I only have one mom. You know that. You were my mom then, and you're still my mom now.
You can't just flip sides whenever it's convenient for you. Your fiancé is about to dump you, so now you want to come running back to me? Do you think I'm gonna fall for that?
Mom, I'm sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. Mom! Please, I'm sorry!
I know you meant what you said to me before. Now you've got to take responsibility for your decisions. You're supposed to be an adult. If you can't take responsibility for your own actions, I must not have raised you very well. But from now on, I'm not going to be looking after you or helping you out ever again. I devoted my entire life to you. I worked hard and gave you everything I could possibly give you. I have absolutely nothing left to give you. And that includes any love. After that, Leah's fiancé's parents were completely against the wedding after finding out who Leah's real mom was. Their family was very concerned with how other people viewed them. They were willing to put up with me being related to them, even though I didn't finish high school. But it was clear they wanted nothing to do with Leah's real mom and the things she had done. Needless to say, the wedding was cancelled. Leah had been quite proud and had been telling everyone how her husband-to-be is a young doctor, and how she was going to be marrying into an entire family of doctors. But when she had to tell them that the wedding was cancelled, It was such an embarrassment for her. As if that wasn't bad enough, Leah was quite popular on social media and had a lot of friends and followers. So, when word got out about her real mom being in prison for attempted murder, word spread really fast, and all of her friends tried to distance themselves from her. I guess they weren't really her friends after all. Leah ended up being left all alone. I guess she couldn't stand how everyone she thought really cared about her left her so quickly, so she tried contacting me again. But I couldn't bear to speak with her again, so I blocked her number. After that, I haven't heard anything more from her. She's not my daughter anymore, so she'll have to learn how to deal with things on her own. I, on the other hand, am no longer working to support anyone else. I'm going to be focusing on my own life from now on. My life begins now.